Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to, well, cut through the noise and really focus on the insights that matter. Today, we're diving into something huge, something really top of mind for big organizations, especially banks right now. Digital learning transformation. You've given us some great source material stuff on transformation lead roles, a full blueprint, even a look at how AI is shaking things up. So our mission today, let's distill all that. We want to give you a clear roadmap, something actionable, for building that future-ready learning ecosystem. We'll uncover not just the what, but the why, and maybe some surprising bits along the way. Okay, let's unpack this. We're kicking off with this structured six-step blueprint our sources outline. It's for digital learning transformation in a big place like a bank. And it seems like more than just steps, right? Blends strategy, tech, people, and that crucial change management piece.
Exactly. And that's where I think people often misunderstand. Banks can stumble if they think it's just about, putting old PowerPoints online. What's really fascinating and critical is that this is strategic. You're building an entire ecosystem. It has to adapt continuously. Think about the pace of change, new regulations, fintech disruption. It's about culture as much as tech.
Okay, so practically speaking, where does a bank even start? Step one in the blueprint is assess and align. That sounds foundational. What does it actually mean day to day?
It means grounding everything in reality. The first big piece is a really thorough needs analysis. You've got to assess the current learning culture. How do people really learn now? What tools are they using or maybe not using? And crucially, where are the skills gaps? In banking, it's often compliance, risk, digital banking skills, sales, leadership. But sometimes the surprise isn't the what, but the why. Maybe it's cultural reluctance to new tools. Then, stakeholder alignment. This is non-negotiable. You need buy-in from HR, L&D, obviously, but also risk, compliance, the business heads. Seriously, without them, it's like pushing a boulder uphill.
Right.
And you have to define measurable outcomes up front. Things like cut compliance violations by 30% or get 5,000 staff upskilled in digital banking. It has to link to business impact.
That makes total sense. It's about the why and the who, and that links straight into the learning vision and strategy, doesn't it? Making it clear this isn't just another training budget line item. It's about continuous learning, fitting into the bank's bigger digital picture. AI, fintech, customer focus.
Precisely. It needs to be woven into the fabric of the bank's strategic direction.
So once that groundwork's done, we hit step two, build the digital learning infrastructure. Now this is where it gets, well, really interesting for people tackling the practical side. What does a scalable, tech-enabled foundation actually look like inside a bank?
Okay, this is the tech backbone. It needs to be solid. Starts with your learning technology stack. You need a modern LMS learning management system, or maybe even an LXP, a learning experience platform.
Right.
These are more than just catalogs. They should do personalization, foster social learning. Peer learning is so powerful. And crucially, pair that with an LRS, a learning record store, using something called XAPI, Experience API. This lets you track learning way beyond just complete and complete. Think granular data, audit trails. Vital for banking.
Okay.
And for a bank's diverse workforce, tellers, managers, everyone mobile first is a must. Frontline staff aren't always at a desk. Oh, and a common pitfall, integration. Don't just bolt on tech. It has to talk to your HRIS, your CRM, maybe even core banking systems. Otherwise, silos and frustration.
Yeah, I can see integration being a major headache if not done right. So beyond the platforms, there's the content strategy. What kind of content does a bank need for this, and how do you make it stick?
It's always a blend. You'll use some off the shelf, for sure. But for banking, custom content is vital. Think AML, KYC, fraud, all those regulatory updates that change constantly. That has to be bespoke. But you also need stuff for soft skills, leadership, and emerging topics. Fintech, blockchain, AI, and banking. And to keep people engaged. Innovative formats are key. Microlearning short bursts. Gamification, simulations are huge. Imagine VR for practicing fraud detection, or AR for a tricky customer interaction. That's high-impact learning for high-risk situations.
Wow, VR for fraud detection. Okay. And with all this tech and content, how do you actually track if it's working? If people are using it, applying it? Sounds like a data challenge.
It is, absolutely. That's where good data and analytics come in. Step 5, really, but you build it here. You need dashboards, tracking not just hours and completions, but are people applying it? Is it hitting business KPIs? Like, did that AML training actually reduce errors in suspicious transaction reports? That's the goal, moving beyond activity to impact.
Got it. So infrastructure's up, analytics are planned. We shift to step 3, design the learning experience. This feels like where it becomes about the person, the learner. How do you make learning engaging, relevant, continuous for individuals in such a big, maybe siloed place.
This is where personalization really comes alive. And AI starts playing a big role here. We're talking recommendations based on role teller, relationship manager, compliance officer. Each needs a tailored path. Based on their needs, their career goals, you create clear career pathways too. A teller sees how learning helps them become an RM, makes it relevant.
Right, connecting it to their future.
Then the blended approach. Sources suggest something like 70% online self-paced, micro-learning on the LXP, 20% social peer discussions, tapping internal experts. People learn so much from colleagues. And maybe 10% focused workshops or coaching, especially for critical leadership skills where that human touch is vital.
Okay, that 70-20-10 model adapted for digital.
Exactly. And maybe the most exciting part is learning in the flow of work. Embedding learning right into the tools they use daily. MS Teams, Slack, the CRM bite-sized compliance tips during a transaction, maybe. Product knowledge refreshers right there, making it seamless, not an interruption.
Learning in the flow of work. That sounds potentially game-changing, but also like a massive cultural shift.
Which brings us to step 4, drive adoption and culture change. How do banks make sure employees actually use all this new stuff instead of just ignoring it? What's the secret sauce for change management?
You've hit the nail on the head. This is often the hardest part. The best system is useless if no one uses it. The source is hammer home leadership sponsorship, not just an email blast. CXOs need to model it, share what they're learning, use the platforms.
That can be tough in traditional banks. It is, but it's critical. Then, learning champions. Find those enthusiasts in each unit, empower them to help their peers. You need smart communication and engagement, campaigns that answer, what's in it for me? Gamification helps badges, leaderboards, public recognition in town halls, and crucially, manager enablement. Train managers to coach, assign learning paths, link it to performance, equip them to lead the change.
Equipping the managers makes total sense. Okay, so we've built it, designed it, driven adoption. Now step 5, measure and optimize. How do we prove this is actually working, delivering value, and keep making it better, moving beyond just ticking boxes?
This is where those learning analytics get really sophisticated. You mature your measurement, go from tracking activity to engagement to performance lift, and ultimately to those business outcomes. Like that example, AML train completion linked to a 40% drop in specific errors. That's concrete ROI. You need that.
That's powerful data.
And feedback loops. Pulse surveys on how effective the learning feels. Quick ways to update content, especially for fast-moving regulations. It all feeds continuous improvement. Quarterly reviews, checking alignment with business goals, scaling up things that work, like maybe that VR pilot.
Right, constantly iterating. So, step 6, scale and future-ready learning. What does this final step mean for building an organization that can genuinely keep adapting?
This is about embedding it, making it sustainable, creating academies and communities. Think dedicated banking academies for risk or digital or leadership. Foster internal expert communities for peer learning. Leverage your own talent.
Nice, like internal university.
Sort of, yeah. And talent development integration, linking all this learning data to promotions, succession planning, proactively reskilling people for future roles, data science, cybersecurity, AI ethics.
Those roles are popping up everywhere.
Exactly. And finally, ongoing innovation. Always exploring what's next. AI tutors, learning bots, more VR for customer service, maybe even blockchain for secure skill credentialing.
Blockchain for credentials. Interesting. Okay, let's zoom in on AI, which you mentioned a few times. It feels like a real engine behind a lot of this. How exactly is AI changing the game in digital learning, turning platforms into these intelligent adaptive systems?
Yeah, AI is fascinating here. It's not just a feature. It's becoming an intelligent partner, dynamically adapting things. It's a game changer for learners and L&D teams. It moves beyond static courses to something really responsive. Let's look at a few core functions, especially relevant for banking. First, personalized learning paths. We touched on this. AI looks at behavior, performance, role, preferences, and adjusts content difficulty, pace, format, tailoring it constantly.
Dynamically adjusting.
Yes. Then there are intelligent tutoring systems. AI simulating one-on-one tutoring, giving hints, explanations, feedback. Super valuable for complex stuff like financial modeling or regulations where you can't always have a human tutor. It scales expertise.
Like a virtual expert on demand?
Pretty much. And another big one, predictive analytics for L&D. AI can spot learners who might be struggling or disengaging. It tracks progress across thousands and suggests interventions, helps L&D and managers make data-driven decisions.
So it helps focus support where it's needed most. What are the actual tangible benefits for a bank putting AI into its learning strategy? Seems like more than just small tweaks.
Oh, the benefits are substantial. Big ones. First, a major efficiency boost. Sources suggest AI can cut training time by up to 40%. Think of the cost savings.
40%? Wow.
Yeah, then retention gains. Adaptive learning can boost knowledge retention by potentially 50% because it's just more relevant and engaging. Things stick. AI delivers huge scalability. You can give thousands of employees tailored experiences simultaneously without needing thousands of facilitators.
That's key for a global bank.
Absolutely. And finally, better engagement. Gamified, interactive, responsive content keeps people motivated, feeling supported.
That's compelling. And as you said, it's not science fiction. Platforms like Docebo, Coursera, they're already using AI for smart curation and recommendations. It's here now. Okay, to pull this all together, let's quickly look at that practical example transformation roadmap over 3 years. It gives a sense of phasing.
Great. It breaks it down. Year one foundation, get the core tech in LMS, LXP, LRS, launch compliance and mandatory stuff, maybe via microlearning, set up basic analytics dashboards, get the infrastructure right, show quick wins.
Build the base.
Yep. Year two engagement. Now you build on it. Introduce real personalization, role-based paths, roll out mobile for frontline teams, add gamification, manager coaching, drive that usage up.
Make it sticky.
Exactly. Then year three transformation, this is where you bring in the advanced stuff. AI-driven adaptive learning, VRR for those high-stakes simulations fraud, customer experience, full integration with talent systems. Really embed that learning culture into the daily workflow, make it DNA.
Foundation, engagement, transformation, a logical flow.
Connect that to the bigger picture, and it's clear. This digital learning transformation in banking, it's so much more than digitizing old courses. It's building this continuous, business-aligned, data-driven, engaging, future-ready ecosystem. It really powers the whole organization, helping everyone thrive through change.
That perfectly wraps up an incredibly insightful deep dive today. We've gone through a clear blueprint for banks, looked at the responsibilities, and really unpacked AI's huge potential here. You should now feel well-equipped, having a shortcut to understanding not just the steps, but the strategy and the real-world how-to. Thanks for joining us.
And it leaves us with a really interesting question to ponder, doesn't it? As organizations get better at these structured, data-driven learning transformations, how do you balance that with fostering genuine human curiosity, that spark of creativity, collaboration, the stuff true innovation needs, especially as AI gets even more integrated into how we learn? It's a fascinating challenge ahead.